Good evening, race fans, and welcome to race number 13 here at Auto Club Speedway. Here with Doghouse Racing League for the Next Gen Cup Thursday Night Series. We are here yet again for another fantastic race here with DRL. And at a 2-mile track where we are going to be doing 45 laps around here today at Auto Club. It's going to be quite the interesting race, as we saw quite a battle last week at race number 12. If you were there and present for that race, I'm sure that you will know that this race is going to be rather interesting for these guys. We are going to have quite the distance to cover, 2 miles of track. That is quite a bit of room for these guys to work with. So we're going to find a lot of different guys going kind of in their own little paths, but we've seen already in the past that these guys are very, very solid pack racers, and with only 45 laps here, it's going to be very interesting to see what these guys do for us today, as these guys are going to be getting closer and closer to wrapping up their qualifying. Only a couple drivers currently still out on track, and that's going to be one Wesley Whitfield, as well as Chuck Cobb is also on the track. Chuck Cobb is currently who we are looking at right now. He is in the 81 machine. And folks, I gotta say, with only 45 laps tonight, you might think that it's not going to be that long of a race, but given that it's a 2-mile long track, it definitely takes some time to get around the track completely, at least for a single lap. But I'm sure that won't last very long, as right now looks like lap times are currently being set at about 41 seconds for most of these guys here, as this is going to wrap up our qualifying and we are going to head into our lineup for the grid. Eric Peck starting it out in the front row alongside Dale Brooks in second place. Daniel Wilkerson in third place alongside Jonathan Jennings in the second row in fourth place. Adam Gardner in fifth, Leander Johnson in sixth, rounding out your top three lineups here. William Gentry in seventh, Andrew Pratt in eighth, Kevin Powell in ninth, Doug Solms in 10th, Andrew Corr in 11th, Nick Reynolds in 12th, Jeffrey Weimer in 13th, Charles Robertson in 14th, Justin McMahon in 15th, Eddie Rivers in 16th, Kevin Thompson in 17th, Michael Bowen in 18th, Wesley Whitfield in 19th, Randall Barnett in 20th, Doug Turner in 21st, Steve Gerber in 22nd, Chuck Cobb in 23rd, Eddie Spurl in 24th, Teddy Wisniewski in 25th, John Mickey in 26th, Don Blazer in 27th, Ricky Hudges in 28th, Kirk Schweitzer in 29th, Chad Waller rounding out the field in 30th. That is going to be our lineup for today's race. And we are going to start things out from pit road, as we always do here at Doghouse Racing League. And I have to say, this view of the track, of the grid here, is quite fantastic. Still waiting on a couple different drivers here to make their way down into the grid. I believe Jonathan Jennings, as well as Charles Robertson, Randall Barnett, and Chad Waller still have not made their way down onto the track into pit road and get lined up. And there is Jonathan Jennings getting himself, a little bit of a blink there. All right, just two more drivers that we're waiting on, and then the pace car will finally make its way around Auto Club Speedway for the very first time here today. All right, and here we go around the track for the first time here at Auto Club Speedway. Eric Peck and Dale Brooks going to be out in the front row, with Daniel Wilkerson and Jonathan Jennings following it out behind them. And as I've said before, these guys are all very, very solid at racing very close to one another, getting into those nice pack racing. It's very great to see from a lot of these guys here as they continue to do so week in and week out, and with this being the second to last race, things are going to be wrapping up here very quickly for this season, but there will be another, and we will make an announcement on that at the end of the race next week. And before we get started as well, just a quick look at your points update for this season. Currently, Jonathan Jennings leading it out, still in first place with an absolutely crushing lead. Still 2015 points for himself. Andrew Pratt in second. Kevin Thompson in third, actually moving up into third place, beating out Doug Solms for fourth place. And there we go. Pace car heading into pit road. And drivers are going to eagerly wait for the green flag. And there it is, and here we go. We are racing here at Auto Club Speedway. We have Dale Brooks down on the inside line with... Excuse me, we actually have Dale Brooks on the inside with Eric Peck on the... I'm getting these all mixed up. We have Dale Brooks on the outside with Eric Peck on the inside, now leading it out in front of the rest of the field. But we have Daniel Wilkerson. Oh man, these guys, there's a lot of action happening here for this entire field. But right now, Eric Peck and Dale Brooks are kind of battling it out here for the lead currently. Dale Brooks having a little bit of a blip moment there for just a second. That might make Eric a little worrisome, following behind that car just too closely. You don't want to end up inside of that car, but everyone doing a fantastic job following behind one another, trying to find a line wherever possible. You know, you see a lot of drivers kind of scattered around a little bit, and that's all right. Finding your groove, finding your line, that's always a good thing. Making sure that you're trying to stay faster than the guy behind you, essentially. And right now, Eric Peck has Jonathan Jennings on his tail now as he starts to form up quickly behind him, leaving Dale Brooks in third place now. And up on top, you see the number 32 of Leander Johnson now making his way up into the front of the grid here. He's made his way up into the top 5 with Doug Solms now currently in front of him, I believe. We also have a lot of drivers here contending for these top 5 positions here and are very close to being able to work their way into that top 5 grid. Right now, you see on your screen Nick Reynolds. He just worked his way going 3 wide with the number 16 of Andrew Corr, able to work his way in the middle of between these cars. Now he has a car behind him giving him a little bit of draft support as well. That's going to be the 44 of Charles Robertson. Great work there. These guys trying to find any kind of train that they can develop here and use that to their advantage and just get a little bit faster, find a little bit more speed on that track, find a little bit more grip wherever they possibly can. And honestly, that's probably why you see a lot of guys wanting to take different lines, wanting to maybe use different strategies here, what they want to do, what they think might work better. So we're going to see a lot of that here, and I think it's very impressive what a lot of these guys are doing here so far. Teddy Wisniewski in the 26 machine, going to be down low. He takes a little bit. Oh, we have a car sideways, the number 93 of Kevin Powell. Oh, no. Absolutely takes a ride. Let's see what happens here at this point in time. Let's drop things into slow motion as it happens before we can even get into it. Let's take things back here just a little bit further and see what we can see here from Kevin's perspective. Let's actually ride on board with Kevin during this and see. And apologies for the camera. It seems to be having some issues where it's currently at. And Kevin just takes a little bit of a tap from the rear, looks like on the right hand side, and unfortunately finds himself taking a little bit of a spin through the air there, quite impressively, I have to say as well. Unfortunate for Kevin Powell. That's going to put him in pit road and probably for the entirety of the race if he's not able to make any quick repairs. We'll see what he does and see how that progresses moving forward into the rest of the race, and whether or not he is able to finish out this race here tonight here at Auto Club Speedway, as we actually see a majority of our grid of our racers coming down pit road. Also take advantage of the caution. Gonna grab some fuel, possibly. I can't imagine that any of these drivers are gonna grab any sort of tires or anything like that. I know that some drivers did make some contact as well outside of Kevin Powell's incident, so I'm sure that there's some guys looking to fix some quarter panel issues as well. So see guys making their way now out of pit road. And with our first caution of today here at Auto Club Speedway for the Next Gen Cup Thursday night series here with Doghouse Racing League, it's been fantastic racing so far. Yeah, it's just those little things, those little slip-ups that can make or break your race. And unfortunately, hopefully, Kevin Powell is able to recoup some of that, but it's been now 2 minutes, over 2 minutes that he's been down there in pit road, so it does not look like he's going to be making it back out onto the field here tonight. Very, very, very unfortunate to see. I'm sure Kevin Powell is not too happy to be in that position right now. But Dale Brooks right now out in first place. Still having started out in second and worked his way out into first place. And there it is. There it is again. Just having a little bit of issues here with the internet connection. Seems like hopefully it does not persist throughout the rest of the race, at least too aggressively, too much. Definitely does impair the drivers around you. Makes them a little bit more cautious, if not more so. Just like you almost saw there, Jonathan Jennings just almost drifted into the bumper there of Dale Brooks. Excuse me, that wasn't Jonathan Jennings. That was the 44 of Charles Robertson. But as we get ready to set up our another green-white checkered attempt here, right, and here we go. Pace car dropping down into pit road, and the green flag will fly for these guys one more time to let them have another attempt here. And there, Dale Brooks is still having a little bit of problems out in the front, but hopefully Charles Robertson in the 44 and Jonathan Jennings in the 95 don't find themselves in too much trouble with that happening out in front of them. It looks like Charles Robertson is going to opt to go a little bit wider than Dale Brooks here going into the straight. Kind of Dale Brooks looking to take the low line here, but there goes Charles Robertson going high, trying to get around that number 88, but still Dale Brooks able to hold on to that lead, but only for just a moment, as Charles Robertson is able to work his way down the bottom line with the 95 of Jonathan Jennings in tow as well. And you can see there on your screen, for just a second there, Dale Brooks disappeared and then reappeared, and Jonathan Jennings was about to take a maneuver there, and as soon as he saw that car reappear again, it definitely made him rethink his actions for just a moment there. But currently, right now, Dale Brooks seems to be trying to fend off any other driver from overtaking him any further. But even as I say that, the 73 of Jeffrey Weimer is on the outside. Jonathan Jennings currently, and he is looking to get in here into the lead. But Charles Robertson still the leader here in this race and doing a fantastic job of that as well. Let's actually ride on board with one of our drivers here and just listen to what the battle is like out on track right now. Let's ride on board with Jonathan Jennings, our second place driver in the number 95 machine. I just realized that I was talking to a dead mic there for just a minute. I apologize to everyone there. I went to take a drink of water and forgot to unmute myself. I apologize for that. We just took a look at the carnage that unfolded in the field. If you were tuning in and just wondering why we were looking at a replay and no one was talking, that was my bad. But moving on here, that's going to make things very interesting for these guys here. As I was saying to myself just a moment ago, you're going to see an opportunity for Jonathan Jennings and Charles Robertson to have another stab at who's going to lead this race here today. And I think Jonathan really wants to do that here tonight. That pace car is going to drop down into pit road here very, very shortly. We are going to see who has faster car. And there it goes. And we are getting ready to race here once again. The cars are ready. Everyone is good to go. And the green flag is out. Charles Robertson on the bottom line with Jonathan Jennings on the outside, followed closely behind. I can't get the number on that car. Charles Robertson still getting it out. An excellent job getting away from the rest of the field before they start catching up to him. He's trying to increase that gap now as much as he possibly can. Jonathan Jennings now has a trail of drivers following behind him who are absolutely on a mission to try and catch up to that number 44 of Charles Robertson as they... Oh, and we have a car sideways at number 20, Justin McMahon. Absolutely gets his ball there for just a moment. The yellow flag does not fly, but it... Oh, and as I say that, another car gets down into the bottom of the front stretch here. Looks like he went into the grass, but no caution came of it. Might have just lost control of his car into the grass there. Had to recover it, unfortunately. Lap 15 of 45, though. Things are going to be wrapping up here a lot sooner than I think some of these guys might be thinking, especially if you are a driver who maybe wants to work their way through the field and try to find an opportunity to get out front. There's not a whole lot, not going to be a whole lot of time left to be able to do that here. And I just noticed, but going back out into the front of the field here, we have Kevin Thompson in the number 21, who actually got a shout out from Sean Thompson in chat here. So great job here for Kevin in that number 21, being drafted currently by Nick Reynolds, doing a fantastic job of just staying as close as he can, maintaining his speed, trying to get that 21 as much of a boost as he possibly can to push that car out in front of the 44. But now, as we say that, Charles Robertson actually has a little bit of ground support behind him with Jonathan Jennings, as well as the 73 of Jeffrey Wimmer, who these three have now taken the top three podium spots as it stands currently. But what's set on lap 17 of 45, there's well, still plenty of time. It's plenty of laps left for something to happen and for that to change. So I wouldn't exactly hold my breath on any of these guys exactly finishing in the same spot that they're in right now. However, the possibility is still there. Right now, Jeffrey Wimmer in the number 73 doing a fantastic job of trying to draft behind that 44 to stay behind Charles Robertson and get a little bit more speed to get around the 44, but he's not going to have a lot of room to do that right. Well, he's got all the room in the world if he really, really wants to. It's not really a big issue for him at the moment. You can see all the track around him to his advantage. The real problem right now is speed. Once you're out of that draft, once you're out of that line, you're not going to be able to maintain the same speed as you were in that draft. I've talked about this before on other podcasts, and I've seen it happen to some drivers where they think they're fast enough, they think they're able to get on the outside and be able to push. As soon as they do, they find themselves taking back 4, 5, 6 positions because they're just not able to keep up the speed. Now, if you're a veteran fan of local racing in general, you'll be quite aware of this. This will be something that's not unfamiliar to you. But if you're new to racing or new to sim racing in general, welcome to the stream, first of all, and thanks for tuning in and watching. These guys absolutely race meticulously hard here. We have a 3-wide battle here with Charles Robertson, Kevin Thompson, and Jeffrey Weimer going 3 wide coming out of turn 2. These guys absolutely duking it out. Who is going to hold the faster line, though, is the real question here. It looks like Jeffrey is going to fall a little bit back, though, as he is going to drop back into 4th place now. Charles Robertson still holding on to that first place position and coming in to 2nd place now. Nick Reynolds in the in the 54 is now going to be battling it for the top 3 podium finishes here tonight. And we have a caution out on track. That is going to put things in a little bit of a weird situation now. We are just about halfway through the race here. 25 laps left to go here. Another caution coming out onto the track. That's going to make things quite interesting, I have to say. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It doesn't really change a whole lot. It's just really a matter of, can Charles do the same restart that he's been doing again? And I have almost no question that he'll be able to, but now that we have Nick Reynolds, the number 54, now coming into the picture here, I'm left with a question. Who is going to be the faster driver on the start? And as I say that, Charles Robertson, Nick Reynolds, all of these drivers making their way down into pit road, going to be finding themselves possibly wanting to get even some new tires to finish out the race here. I could be mistaken, but that could be a strategy that some of these drivers might want to take. With only 24 laps left to go here, your tires theoretically should still be all right. I also do have to mention there's only 50% fuel as well, so that's something you do have to consider and account for. And I think in a race like this, you're going to run out of fuel before you need to change tires. And I don't know. It's a very interesting situation to be in where you're kind of just fighting based on who's faster, who's lighter, who's using more fuel, who's abusing their tires more. It's interesting. Very, very interesting. We are going to go join the front of the field here again, or join the field back on track before we get ready to send them off again for the final 24 laps here at Auto Club Speedway. And Jonathan Jennings with a little bit of a fake out there, looking like he was going to go down into pit road, and he is actually not gone into pit road once during this race, and it is going to be a very interesting one for him. As he is still the points leader in the championship, and is right, as we wait for the pace car to make its way back down into pit road. Kevin Powell reporting in from pit road in the number 93. He says that he wants to apologize to the 34 coming up on him. The 26 came down, and he just trying to fall in line. Didn't realize the 34 had his nose on his quarter panel. And he ended up with 40 minutes of required damage repair time. Absolutely bummer for number 93. But we are green flag racing here once again. Jonathan Jennings now in the front of the field here. Nick Reynolds Reynolds and Andrew Pratt in second and third place, with Jeffrey Weimer mixing his way into the top three here, as he is now third place, with Andrew Pratt, Charles Robertson, and Eric Peck all following closely behind them. Right now, it is still an absolute battle for all of these guys here today, as we still have 22 laps left to go here. All of these guys are going to be fighting as hard as they possibly can with the time that they have left. And you can see right now, it looks like the 54 of Nick Reynolds is trying to find that outside line around Jonathan Jennings if he can make it work, or maybe even fake him out a little bit as he drops down low there just for a second to see if he can get a little bit more speed potentially, but it does not look like he was able to. He's still on the rear of that number 95, so he's still doing a fantastic job, staying as close as he possibly can. And the 54 just trying as hard as he possibly can to get to the 95, stay on that bumper. Jeffrey Weimer as well in this little three-piece that we have. And look there, you can see Jeffrey opting to stay behind Nick Reynolds in the 54, taking that high line around the 95. And it looks like Jonathan Jennings not able to find enough speed there, even down on the lower line of here at Auto Club. He is going to find himself now into third place as Nick Reynolds and Jeffrey Weimer take a little bit of a dual train fly by him, but now we have the 75 of Andrew Pratt and the 61 of Eric Peck, both kind of side by side right now, along with the 44 of Charles Robertson, who was leading this race for quite some time, also in the mix here, slowly working his way through this grid here, trying to get up into the top three here. Will he be able to do that, though, is the question as he makes his way around the 75 of Andrew Pratt. It's now going to be a matter of where he's going to choose to stay, and it looks like he ended up falling behind Andrew Pratt once again. Let's try and stay in that line, stay in that groove for just a little bit, see what he can do there. Laps left to go here. We are still as close as possible. Everyone in this race is actually quite close to one another. We have a few stragglers that are down in the back of the field, potentially due to damage issues or what have you, being involved in other incidents that a little bit further down the track. Robertson in the 44 has now worked his way up into the top three, now looking to get into first place, and he does as he takes the bottom line with Nick Reynolds following behind him. Excuse me, not Nick Reynolds. That is Jeffrey Weimer in the number 73 that is following behind him. We still have Andrew Pratt on the outside with the 54 of Nick Reynolds following behind him. Now, Andrew Pratt is currently battling for first place as these guys kind of swap back and forth as who has the faster line here. Looks like Charles Robertson is going to start to take it away here as he leads this field. And these guys behind him are looking to possibly go 3 wide here, maybe even 4. You can see behind Charles, you can see the strategies being played out. You have both Andrew Pratt and the 54 of Nick Reynolds trying to stay close to one another, staying in that draft, and there we go, 3 wide. These guys doing a fantastic job, giving each other plenty of space, and they are going 3 wide. Fantastic racecraft from all of these guys here tonight. Andrew Pratt now in second place as he manages to find a little bit of distance between the rest of the field there for just a second and secure, rather, so we think, secure his spot for second place for the time being. But 15 laps left to go here. Things are going to be wrapping up here very, very shortly for these racers here tonight. As I say that, we are still clicking off lap times of about 41 seconds. Some drivers a little bit slower generally that's about where we're at for most of these guys here tonight. And it doesn't look like, if you're looking at the track at the bottom of your screen currently, you'll notice that the front of the field is getting a little bit closer to the rear. I just have to figure out in my head if we have enough laps for it to be closed and for lap time to start being involved here. Because I don't think there's going to be enough laps for it to matter too much. We'll see. We'll definitely see. Charles Robinson, 44. Andrew Pratt, number 75. Oh, you can see there just a little bit of a tap from the 75 to Charles Robertson. They keep it together. They keep things green here. Andrew Pratt is now going to be leading out in front of the field here. For how long is the question, as we now have the 32 of Leander Johnson followed behind, well, for only a moment. Leander now finding himself all in his lonesome down at the bottom there. Coming into turn 3. Come out of turn 4 here into the front stretch. Some of these guys trying to find any line that they possibly can to get side by side, find any draft that they possibly can. But let's take a look back in 8th place currently. Eddie Spook, who is 8th place currently, worked his way up 16 positions, and you can just see how much distance is between himself and the front of the field line. And it's not because he's slow by any means, it's just because by himself the car is not fast enough to keep up. When you don't have other cars around you to kind of give you a little bit more draft, a little bit more bump support. And here's a perfect example. Behind him, closing in behind him, I believe is Wesley Whitfield, Eddie Rivers, and Doug Solms. You can see some of these guys starting to catch up a little bit once they start to form into more proper line. Start to gain a little bit more speed on the straightaways. It helps just ever so slightly. With 10 laps left to go here, we are going to ride on board very quickly as well. For just a moment with Andrew Pratt, who's currently in 2nd place in the number 75 machine. See how a couple laps here are for that number 75 as we get closer and closer to wrapping up our race here at Auto Club. How closely Andrew Pratt was trying to get to the 44 of Charles Robertson here as we have 8 laps left to go here. 7 once we cross the checkered line. These guys are going to have a final shootout to see themselves a little bit more points, but still, Jonathan Jennings is most likely going to be the driver to win this championship, win this series for this season. I have to say, it's definitely not an easy one to win. These guys are all fantastic drivers, and every single one has done a phenomenal job every week that I've seen. And oh no, as I say that, Charles Robertson gets, he gets just a little bit loose and goes sideways into the wall. Doesn't take out anyone else, I don't believe, but let's see if we can take another look at that. Let's stop things there for just a second, back things up, and observe what happens here. So it looks like the 54 the 54 of Nick Reynolds just gets into the rear. Charles Robertson also colliding with Nick in the process as well. Unfortunate for our race leader tonight, and frankly, one of the drivers that I was half expecting to see finish this race here and secure a podium. Very consistent, very clean racing that we saw here from Charles. Unfortunate to see the 44 into the wall this late in the race. 6 laps left to go. And that car is not looking the greatest right now. I'm sure Charles is I'm sure he's great. He's fine. He's fine. And as we saw there just for a second before we switched views to the guys back on track, you saw some other drivers making their way into pit road, top off on fuel, what have you, before we finish out the final 5 laps here at Auto Club Speedway for race number 13 here with Doghouse Racing League for the Thursday night Next Gen Cup Series. It's going to be a shootout as we have Leander Johnson, Eddie Spurl. I am trying to figure out how to pronounce that one, Eddie. I really am. In the number 27, working his way up into second place currently, but we still have a handful of drivers that are in pit road that are going to make their way back out on the track as well, so they are going to be joined very shortly by them. However, these are a few drivers that we have not seen too much of. I know that we saw Leander Johnson for just a little bit towards the beginning of the race, and looks like he kept his nose clean and just wanted to stick it out until the end. So great job there from the number 32, Leander Johnson, doing a fantastic job, as well as the 27 of Eddie Spurl. Also looking like he has a clean car as well. And Eddie Rivers, I'm not too certain if that's just the paint scheme or if it looks like it is. It's just the paint scheme. Okay. I wasn't too sure what was going on there for just a second, but it seems to be that's the case. You can see a few other cars as well that are on track missing their front fender, just having an exposed radiator, exposed front end, what have you. With 4 laps left to go, who will win race number 13? Our final asterisk attempt here to finish tonight's race. The final opportunity with these drivers here in the top 5 to win gold. Not really. maybe in bragging rights. All of our drivers are eager. You can see the number 11 missing his front end. He's ready to go here. And there it goes. Pace car down into pit road. The green flag is going to fly, and here we go. It looks like a little bit of a checkup possibly from the front of the field. Maybe for just a second, I'm not too sure what that was. It looks like Leander wasn't getting on that loud pedal as early as I thought he was going to, but maybe it was just part of the strategy. Wanted to keep things nice and clean here for just a moment. And Leander taking away the lead here with Kevin Thompson following behind, and he's getting into an absolute battle here. Getting mixed in with a few different cars there. And we have cars going 3 wide, 2 wide, all over the place. Leander Johnson still trying to hold on to it, but even as I say that, Wesley Whitfield in the 07 trying to, oh no, there he go, oh no. And the field crashes here once again, sending all sorts of drivers all over the track. And with 3 laps left to go here, well, that's really only gives an opportunity for the guys who are starting out in front. And right now, Wesley Whitfield and Leander Johnson and Kevin Thompson are going to be in a position where they might be able to win this race tonight. And while we are in caution, I just noticed this as well. It's going to bug me to no extent. I apologize for the refreshing of the paint schemes as Trading Paints gets itself sorted. I just realized that the cars showed double numbers. And we don't like that here, Team Goon Squad. That is not how we like to do things here. But it looks like now everything is showing properly as it should. It doesn't look all weird now. So I'm happy. Hopefully everyone else is happy. If you didn't notice beforehand, well, we're all good now. But 3 laps left to go here. The excitement is building up here in the booth. And I wonder if everyone else here at home watching the broadcast is also getting excited to see this race finish out. With only 3 laps left to go, Wesley Whitfield in the 07, Leander Johnson in the 32, and Kevin Thompson in the 21. Rounding out your top 3 are going to be starting the final 3 laps. I believe this is going to be a single file attempt here, if I am not mistaken. I could be wrong. right, and here we go. This is going to be, I assume, our last attempt here to finish this race. 3 laps left to go. Pace car dropping down into pit road. We are starting things single file this time around. And Wesley Whitfield, seeing that green flag, is going to launch on the field, or at least try to, and build a gap between himself. Leander Johnson in the 32, closing in behind him, trying to get as close as possible, but doesn't quite have enough speed to make it work. So Kevin Thompson in the 21, right behind Leander, is going to follow behind the 75 of Andrew Pratt, who is closing in ever so closely, right on that bumper, trying to give that draft to the 21 of Kevin Thompson, working their way around Leander Johnson. Fantastic job from both of those drivers. They're working together to try and work their way up the grid as quickly as they possibly can. 2 laps left to go here. We are going to see the final lap here at Auto Club Speedway. Man, oh man, is Wesley Whitfield going to be able to hold on to his lead here as we take our final lap here around Auto Club Speedway, or is Kevin Thompson and Andrew Pratt going to be able to find enough speed? Oh, on the outside line. Oh no, and we are wrecking in the front of the field on the back stretch. Oh, this is not how we want to finish the race, but cautions is not going to fly. We're going to keep racing. This is the final opportunity. Jonathan Jennings taking advantage of that opportunity. He's now leading this race in the number 95 of that Dex Imaging sponsored machine, looking fantastic as he crosses that line. Kevin Thompson and Leander Johnson nearly side by side as they cross the line there. Leander Johnson taking it in 3rd place, and Kevin Thompson finishing out 2nd for this race here, race number 13. And Jonathan Jennings now going to increase his lead in the points standings even further. As we get ready for our driver interviews, all right, folks. Well, I was waiting for some of our drivers to get themselves up here into the waiting room in the booth. Looks like we're going to be missing our 3rd place finisher, Leander Johnson. So I don't think we're going to be getting an interview in with the 32 of Leander here today. But if he happens to join in here before the end of the race, or before the end of the broadcast, we will gladly get that in with him. But starting out our post-race interviews for today, and let me actually get the race results on screen, and they're still not wanting to work for me, so I will get that sorted out next time around. I apologize for the inconvenience, everyone, about that. But anywho, starting out our post-race interviews, Kevin Thompson in the number 21 machine. Let's get him out here in the booth. Kevin, sir, do you have a read?
Yes, I do.
Hello, Kevin.
Hello.
Oh, I can barely hear you.
Hold on, let me try to turn my mic up.
Oh, there we go. I had a mechanical issue in my end.
All right, 10-4.
All right. Apologies for that, Kevin. Kevin, you had a fantastic race here tonight, as well as everyone else, frankly. It was definitely a interesting race here tonight. There was definitely a little bit more cautions than I'm sure everyone was probably used to. But it was a lot of just small things that kind of just escalated into bigger incidents that honestly, frankly, could have been avoided. But it's just one of those things. It's racing. It's what happens. But Kevin, you were able to overcome a lot of those things. Keep your nose clean. Stay out of all of the carnage, and secure a second race win. Now, I gotta ask you, that final lap. It was definitely it definitely looked like he was in the favor. Forget the driver who it was that found himself into the wall. I believe it was Charles Robertson finding himself getting into the wall. Kevin, what was it like having that happen and having the field kind of switch up just in the blink of an eye like that?
It. I was there. I don't know what he was thinking. Um, Trying to door me, I guess. But it is what it is. It's racing, hard nose racing. I'll take my second and move on to Texas next week.
Absolutely. And now with Texas being the last race, and now that Jonathan Jennings has kind of secured his championship, what are sort of your expectations for next week, and what are you looking to try and do next week at Texas?
Just go out and run a clean race and try to get another win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Kevin, before I let you go here tonight, and before I let you celebrate your win tonight, or, well, your second place finish tonight, is there anyone at home, anyone watching that you want to give a shout out to or thank before you go and celebrate?
Yeah, I want to shout out my father that watches these races every week, and my teammate Pratt at AK Racing and Andrew St. Gore. We did a really good job tonight, and just bring it on for next week.
Absolutely, Kevin. Thank you for coming up here and talking with me in the booth. Again, congratulations on your second place win, and I look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing you next week at Texas.
All right.
All right, that's Kevin Thompson out of the booth. Up next, Leander Johnson, the number 32 machine, who finished out third place tonight. We're doing things a little bit out of order tonight, but that's all right. Leander, sir, do you have a read?
Yes, I do.
Leander, you had quite a very, very lucky opportunity here tonight.
Oh, we're just having fun, man. Just having fun. I got lucky. That's what happened. Got lucky.
Absolutely. It was very, very
Them fellas raced, but they raced for keeps. Trust me, they have a good time.
and it's having only seen you guys race now 3 times. I can see just all the competition between all the drivers. It's very, very thrilling to watch you guys race. You guys are all very, very competitive and very solid racers. Each and every one of you guys are fantastic. But now, Leander,
Thank you, sir.
Leander, I have to ask you, going into this final, what was it, like 5-6 laps, and having a caution come out at probably the most perfect opportunity. Were you expecting to lead the race and be able to finish it out first, or were you expecting the train behind you to catch up and just make things?
I was hoping to lead, but when you got that many cars coming behind you, ain't nothing much you can do.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there, Leander. There's not a whole lot of opportunity for anything really to happen other than to just get past. It's very difficult, but Leander, you held on to it. You took home a third place finish here tonight. I gotta give it to you, Leander. That was definitely a hard fought battle with all the cautions that we had involved. Oh man,
Yeah.
you kept your nose clean. You stayed out there, and you did a fantastic job. Now with only one race left, we're going to Texas next week. What are your thoughts on Texas, and what are you expecting going there next week?
Not much experience with Texas, but we'll try to stay consistent, do the best we can.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll see that consistency play forward next week, and we'll get to talk to you again next week possibly, and
Okay.
wish you going forward into that. But before I let you go, Leander, is there anyone watching or anyone at home that you want to give a shout out to or thank?
No, they all think I'm crazy. No, all the guys that we racing with together. Um, I do appreciate opportunity to do so, to run in the league with the fellas. And we hope we can keep having a good time.
Yeah, it's always great when you have a good group of guys to come together and race together. It's always a lot of fun, and it's always great broadcasting for leagues like this. So, gotta appreciate it wherever you can. And Leander, again, thank you for coming out and talking with me in the booth. And apologies for kind of sending you a little distress call to get you in here, but
that's okay. I'm sorry. I'm new to this. I'm new to this part. Trust me.
It's okay, Leander. It's all right. We're still figuring out things here too as we go. You know, it's always a work in progress. So, again, thank you, Leander, for coming out here, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, folks, that was Leander Johnson in the 32, wrapping up his interview. And last but not least, our race winner and our points leader for the championship, Jonathan Jennings. Jonathan, sir, do you have a read?
Yes, sir.
John, you had quite the race here tonight, and you were fighting for first place for practically the entirety of the race. And all it took was for, I believe it was Charles Robertson, to just find himself to get a little bit loose, and you were able to capitalize that and take home first place. How are you feeling right now? You're definitely high up there in the point standings, and you're looking to secure a championship for this season.
Yeah, I was just trying to be close to Andrew Pratt there. I got extremely lucky. I was a lap down there with 5 to go or so.
Yeah, that was an extremely hard-fought battle. Throughout the entire race, there was just carnage throughout the entire field, and you were able to stick through it, keep your nose clean, keep the car clean, and finish out this race in first in the final hour, as it would seem. Jonathan, going into next week, into Texas, knowing that you have basically won the series, what are your thoughts going into next week, and how are you feeling about this season?
Well, I'm not completely confident I've won it because of the way the series works with the drop races. So after tonight, though, I feel more comfortable than I would have any other way.
Absolutely. Well, Jonathan, before I let you go here tonight, before you go and celebrate your win tonight, is there anyone at home, anyone watching the stream that you want to give a shout out to or thank before you head out tonight?
Yeah, Daniel and Eddie for putting on the races each and every week. Adam, Kevin, and John, my teammates, for the feedback and everything each week, and you for the broadcast.
I appreciate it, Jonathan. Thank you for putting on the excellent race performance that you put in week week out, and to everyone else in the league that does the same exact thing. John, thank you for coming out here and talking with me in the booth. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, everyone. That's Jonathan Jennings out of the booth, and that is going to wrap up our post-race interviews for tonight. And that is going to wrap up Race 13 here at Auto Club Speedway for the Next Gen Cup Thursday Night Series with Doghouse Racing League. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad bringing you tonight's action. I hope you all enjoyed what you have seen tonight, and if you did, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, check out some of the content that we've done before, and make sure you stay tuned for all the action that we have throughout the week as well, as we are always working with new leagues and working with previous customers as well, always bringing action to the Team Goon Squad channel and for iRacing fans all over the world. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, and I look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place, for race number 14, the season finale at Texas Motor Speedway. Thank you all, and have a great night.
for Carrington. It's dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona, the big one is out.